topic to the discussion table because our audience are very special to our heart. Ecoastronomy Sri Lanka have selected a very unique topic for tonight's discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we will talk about Danigala coding. But first of all, let me introduce for you the author as well as the co-authors of this work. First, let me introduce the one and the only Dr. Aravinda Ravibhanu, Chief Executive Officer of South Asian Astrobiology and Earth Science Research Unit. As well, he is an academic director and senior researcher scientist at the Department of Science Engineering, Institute of Professional Studies and Skill Development in Sri Lanka. As well, we would like to send our greetings as well as our gratitude to all of our co-authors, starting by Dr. Bernie Tyler, researcher scientist in Archeoastronomy from USA, as well as Mr. Geeth Summer, geologist at Geological Survey and Mines Bureau of Sri Lanka, with Mr. Aruna Bandra, archaeological officer from Central Cultural Funds, Pulunarua. Let me as well introduce myself. I'm Majda, engineer in Ecology and Biodiversity Management. I'm studying as well my second master degree as engineer in Beijing Forestry University, School of Ecology and Nature Conservation. Now, before we get started, I may recall you all to let all the comments and your questions in the comment box. So by the end of this discussion, Dr. Aravinda and I, we can be able to read all of them and to answer them. Well, right now, I want you all to return back with me in time, specifically in 28th of July, 2020, when Dr. Aravinda with his team have discovered a huge discovery, which is known today by the name of Danigala coding. First of all, I will give you a small introduction of Danigala coding. Danigala coding have been discovered in Danigala rock. And Danigala rock is actually a unique geological site found near Kandagama at Polonnaruwa district in Sri Lanka. Dr. Aravinda with his team have found in the northern west slope part of Danigala a very interesting petroglyphs. These symbols are relatively new and for the first time discovered in Sri Lanka. These petroglyphs, now assessed as art, are actually a mute science print of a bygone society. Let me give you some new facts of Danigala coding. Samples of Danigala coding petroglyphs are similar to the Shamanic culture symbols. This is fact number one. Besides, the engraving technique is remarkably similar to these used in the petroglyphs found in Idakal caves in India. This is fact number two. Well, those symbols found in Danigala, actually they are partially similar to some other symbols found around Sri Lanka. This is fact number three. Well, Dr. Aravinda with his national and international team, he have a goal behind all of this. The goal is to uncover the archaeoastronomical meaning behind those historical beliefs of Danigala, much more. Dr. Aravinda with his team, he wants to come up with a management plan to promote the tourism in Danigala. As I have said, Danigala have a unique geological forms, shapes, and even colors. Well, Dr. Aravinda, I remember that there is an article published in the Ancient Origin platform, and it was mentioned that according to the national website Attraction Sri Lanka, that Danigala rock is a hotspot for aliens. Well, doctor, can you give us once for all your clarification of this phenomenon?
Yeah, thank you so much, Yoda, to having this kind of sessions on today. So actually, it's quite interesting point at the very beginning. You have just mentioned it's like phenomenon like aliens, because of I have seen sometimes, when I was just discussed with some of scientists in Sri Lanka, they also said some kind of extraterrestrial activities behind the Dhanigala and all this. Is actually I'm surprised in why the professional scientists just express their idea like, oh my goodness, aliens is up there. It's okay, maybe something out there, that's true. But when we just having this kind of scenario, it should be like scientific. That's why we just heading with this event. Actually, it's coordinated by the Central Cultural Fund. For Norway, he's the unit that coordinate the whole programs, and from the other side, we will just consult them specifically from the astronomy and the geology, like these subjects. So actually, I will show you some of the very interesting facts on today. So why people just interested in the alien things and all the factors with the Danigala coding. So well, let me share my screens.
It's even called the Alien Mountain. They give it this name. They said that this mountain is called in the area by the Alien Mountain. It goes so far away.
Yeah, that's true. You know, actually, Joda, the writer, he's from the Ireland or something European country. So Asian origins. That's the news article. So when they published that news article, actually very beginning, I just send them my technical reports, and after that they just go through with my technical reports, and after that they just waiting with that kind of article. So suddenly they just search the Google, what it's called the Dhanigala. So actually they just informed me, Aravinda, most of links that consisted in the Google relevant to the Sri Lankan some of website, each every website mentioned as it's like a Danigala alien circular rock, it is belong to some of aliens because of the reason, the shape of the rock, just like some kind of circular shapes. So most of people thought actually how its formation because of the reason. So when the alien flights come to that place, and after that they just having a lift off. So with that pressure, it's starting with that kind of formations, like that kind of scenario. But it's not true. It's quite geological, natural formation. That's why I told you. So let me share my screen.
Yeah.
Is it clear?
Yeah, it is clear.
Oh, okay. Then step by step, I will show you something very interesting. First, actually, very first, Joda, I would like to head into some kind of geological things. So, actually, in the very prehistoric times, Asian people were living all around the Sri Lanka. But most important fact, how Asian people just recording the some of scenario that they see at the celestial sphere object, just like stars, like some of suns and moons, how they just have been recorded. This is the most important fact, and this is what we call archaeoastronomy. But before that, why people just interested in the alien factors and the Dhanigala? That is the most important questions. But you see, this is the geological map of Sri Lanka. Basically, Sri Lanka will divide into few of geological settings like Haydn complex, Wani complex, Vijayan complex, and the Miocene bed. So you can see this yellow color dot. It's representing where the Dhanigala located. It's belong to the we call it a geologically Vijayan complex. So in here the another detailed geological map, and it's very clear, and what kind of formations and what kind of soils behind this place. The next point, we just go throughout the sum of geological analysis and all the things. What is the geological and the natural formations behind the Danigala circular rock? Here the Google aerial view of the rock, and the same time you can see different type of the some of lakes. Some of it's developed by very early time, but so you can see some of even though like a circular shape in this quarter, in here also the same scenario. Actually, basically we call it's Insenberg in the second peneplain where the Danigala is located. So this is the most important fact. Actually, when we just considering the geological formation, these three components are directly affecting to the formations of the Dhanigala. First thing, mechanical weathering, and the chemical weathering, and the organic weathering. Most important fact is mechanical weathering and the chemical weathering plus erosion part. So actually, we call this scenario, it's like it's something like you know, day and night. Sorry?
It's weathering impact,
Yeah.
like the weather impact.
Yes, yes, exactly. Weathering plus erosion. So the most important fact we may have to just go through. So why this kind of formation? So why circular formations and why people just impressed after this place? Actually, uh, I think people be getting kind of exciting. The reason after they seeing the some of aerial view images of this place, until they seeing the aerial view of this place, there will no kind of exciting factors and no doubts. It is some kind of very natural formation. But after they have been seen, I think after millennium, I mean after I think 2005, most probably. So they have been seeing like aerial view of the displays after having some kind of some kind of it's like then there are many type of flights it's available. You can just check the aerial view of the different type of scientific projects. So in fact, I believe this formation is quite natural based on the mechanical weathering and the chemical weathering. Why I am saying like that? Because of it is quite very similar to the onion skin weathering. You can see the actually this is kind of horizontal formation. You can see how this kind of formation has been just occurred. Actually, this is not the image from the Sri Lanka. It is outside from Sri Lanka. This scenario we call it exfoliations in the granitic rock. Actually, it's based on the physical and the chemical weathering activities. And I will show you another little bit the video, so it will be getting a little bit clear what is happening in the exfoliations pattern. Actually, it's very common in the whole around the Sri Lanka when considering the granitic type ores. It's when the daytime, so normally, sometimes it is heat getting up at the daytimes, and the most of the surface of the rock it is getting warm, but the core part it is like to be a cold. So actually, this is why Asian people selecting the granitic caves as their shelters because of the opposite side of this scenario. It's happening in the night. So what is happening in this part, in surface part, is going to be a cold, and then the core part is going to be a little bit, it's hot. It's called actually heat radiated into the environment at the night. This is very common scenario in the each granitic rocks and the most of caves in Sri Lanka. That is the most specific reason why Asian people selected the most of cave as their Asian's house. You can see, I have seen it in Morocco also. There are some of caves, and also China. You see, these processes happening in the repeat and repeat over time. So what is it happening? The outer layer is going to be a kind of unstable. It means this layer is going to be a kind of unstable, and after that, step by step, this layer is going to be appear. This is how Danigala like formation is getting formed actually in natural, because of it's technically we call physical and the chemical weathering and erosion. So I think people must be understood with this scenario. So this is the natural fact actually. So after that, I can show you some of very interesting aerial view fact around the Danigala. You can see actually this is north side view of the Danigala circular rock. This is the main observation center. I will show you the Chitralena. It is situated in this side. It is called Southern Way. So then another fact you can see also there are some of boulders. around the northwest region in the Danigala. Same rock, actually, you can see some of the tracks in there. Actually, these formations is based on the physical and weathering erosions. And also very interesting facts, this is Madhuraya tank, and also you can see very tiny white color hood.
Yeah.
That is the actually Khandegama archaeological sites. They are the people who providing all facilities to this area, and they are the one who providing all the scientific phenomena and archaeological phenomena. Actually, these people trying to be having some kind of huge conservation project around the Dhanigala and around the Khandegama area, and actually very beautiful area. But at the very night time, there are many type of animals, especially elephants. So my goodness, it's
Wow.
very interesting at the night, because of the reason we have to be so careful whenever works we at that place. So, and here another place. Actually, you can see the cursor.
Yes, it's clear.
Actually, it representing the where the Chitrolene. I will show you at the end. So, and another instance there you can see from here. Actually, whole formation just considered in the second planeted surface of the Sri Lanka. It's belong to the Vijayan complex, as well as we call it rock outcrops, other words, and also Inselbergs. So, and from this way also we can just represent another tank, the Buruk Tower we call. So it's very interesting and very attractive, beautiful area actually. So, and the next part, this is quite interesting another part, because of when we having this field visit, actually we just find few of geological samples, and we thought it is kind of belongs to the Asian wind power iron smelting technology. Actually, Sri Lanka is available with the iron smelting technology. You see, this I believe this is some kind of ferrous contamination sample. So you see at the edge of this sample, it's kind of a burning spot is there, but inside of the core, there is none of impact like this. It should be some kind of burning spot. So, but we may have to definitely clarify what kind of mineral compositions is up there, and therefore we just heading with this some kind of XRD test. So after that, we can just clarify what kind of mineral compositions is up there, and it will be able to having some kind of idea. It's directly affecting the wind power iron smelting technology. The other words, so in around 2012, there will be a kind of a meteorite show in Dibulagala, Danigala, and area. Specifically, we had to just specify if it is belong to the some of meteorite family, or otherwise it is naturally wastage of the part of the iron smelting technology. So it is ongoing part till. So I think this kind of samples, there are many kind of samples over around the Danigala. The next part, yeah, I think I have seen this kind of formations in Morocco also. It's very interesting fact. So actually, this part it's very unique, because of the reason some of scientists thought this kind of formation is built by the human. Actually, there were some of geological anthropometric formations done by the human, just like Stonehenge. But before we just head into that kind of conclusion, we have to just finalize. We are scientific. How people just do this kind of thing. I think this is not the something anthropometric. It means not man-made one, because of you can just very easily check this out as the erratic boulders or crop formations. So you can see the technical words in here. Erratic boulders most of are just affecting the glacier period. You can just check on the Google erratic boulders, and other words crop formations. I think there are many type of formation bits like phenomena. So it is belong to the kind of natural geological formation. Actually, these all type of formations we can just very easily find out from the Danigala circular rock. Actually, it's not on the Danigala circular rock, it's around the Danigala circular rock. It's belong to the different type of other instance bird. So also here the another example from the another actually some of from the Dhanigala. This part is from the Dhanigala. You see that I just clearly mentioned it's straw rock formations and spheroid weathering and erosions. I think it's better you can just note down these technical words and search from the Google what kind of geological formations behind that, because of it's very clear and there is no doubt and all around the world this kind of formations are available. But how to describe and how to classify it, how it's going to be a man-made one or natural one, it's not actually very easy to identify how it's going to be man-made, or on the other hand, it's like natural. There are some of scientific way. I think this part belongs to the archaeologists, because of they may have to be so concerned about this kind of formation based on the geological activity. And other hand, this image from the Danigala cave site from the Karnataka. This is very unique formation, just like Danigala. So also Kurulangala, one of another rock cut place in Sri Lanka. And behind the scene, you can see another Isenberg formation. So otherwise, we call it like when they having explanations of this kind of geological formation, we call it cap geology. You can check many kind of words like cap geology, trough formations, erotic boulders, like that. So I think this is very important site. At the end, I will show you why this site is going to be so exciting for, and why this site is so important when we just discuss of the Dhanigala site. So another, this is another formation from the USA. So I think all around the world, this formation is very common.
They exist.
Yeah. So I think it's very clear what is behind the wall of the Danigala formations, and it is very clear now. That's why I just need to be clarified some of things, because of if it is going to be a man-made, how it's man going to be a made? It should be scientific. So otherwise, it will be going to be something wrong directions in the science. So it's not called science. So I hope it is very simple and clearly understood what is behind the formation. It's not it's not aliens. That is the most important part.
It's not aliens. There is a scientific answer for the unique formation of the rocks that we can find in Danigala.
Actually, I also like if it is something happening via aliens. I like, because of my field belongs to the astrobiology, like extraterrestrial life. We are just expecting that kind of thing, but I know scientifically this is not something like that. This is full damn geology. Yeah.
Of course. Well, this brings me to the second point, which is studies of astronomy in culture has been described as investigating the diversity of ways in which cultures, both ancient and modern, they perceive celestial objects and integrate them into their view of the globe. Well, Dr. Aravinda, after various discussions, very interesting discussions, we have had. Now it's obvious for us that Danigala related to unique astronomical culture. Still, can we have an idea on its synchronization as well as its geological background?
Yeah, actually, it is kind of good questions. When you just considering the archaeoastronomy background in Sri Lanka, actually there are some of evidences, specifically based on sundials and the water clocks. There are some kind of ancient period in Sri Lanka, like Anuradhapura to Mahanwara, like that period. So I have just actually, it's one of my students. He has been done the very unique thesis relevant to the water clock plus the sundials. So actually, this is very scientific, and we have been just find out some kind of sundials. One sundial belong to the J1A, the other one is I'm not sure where it's from. Other one. So, however, it means how Asian people just going to be calibrate and calculate the diurnal time. It's so important. In fact, you see, Joda, even the current period, we just trying to be so effective to the manage our time. It's so hard, even we have clock and all the things, you know, it's kind of so hard things to do. But Asian people, it is done very nicely. There have been many type of calculation systems, and how they're going to be calculate the Asians' time. Actually, it's based on the kind of regional wise phenomena. The reason, you know, most of sundials find out around the some of it's, we call it the regional places like Jetumania and other
Oh, yeah.
I think as I remember Abegiri or something like that. So I will show you something else.
And there is a question in
Yeah.
here. Like you said, the ancient cultures have made sundials and also water clock to manage the timing. And if you compare it with humans right now, we didn't have this type of management of the time. But what I'm asking here, it's like, are we not developed as they was to be?
Yeah, it's a good question, still. That's why we need to be so concerned about the historical background. Actually, it's not Abegiri, it's Rajagala, and other one is from the Jeta Vanaya. Okay. Then this is the one of sundial from the Rajagala, and one of my students has been just calibrate how it's going to be calculate the diurnal time like that. Actually, it's happening in the prehistoric time, and also here the water clock. The most important fact, we have these kind of evidence from the Anuradhapura to Mahanvara period. So most important fact, how prehistoric people, how prehistoric people just going to be recorded celestial sphere objects. That is the most important fact, and plus that's why I just call the Neolithic shooting star. Means I believe when I just considering the potential diversity of this area in between other country, it's so relevant to the around 5,000 to 6,000 years around, especially when we considering the Kalki. But it's not sure still because of the reason it didn't have any kind of carbon dating of the around in this area. The second part of this area, we should have to be just heading with the archaeoastronomical bind ruins. Actually, the part of the Dhanigala circular rock, we have been just find out the very unique bind ruins. So still we are just encoding those bind ruins. Actually, we may have to understand it's not blind ruin. People thought it's like a blind ruin, like Asian ruins. This is not blind ruin, it's ruin. This blind ruin is kind of very specific codes, how they're just representing the whole scenario. Example, how people just going to be a worship, so they can just represent in that scenario via one symbol. So example, how people just representing the eclipse or full moon or sun, it's like to be one symbol. It is a deep meaning, like, you know, there are different kind of blind ruins all around the world. Specifically, Viking use the blind ruins, and the call is Norse gods and the shamans, and you also right now I believe Sri Lankan also use these kind of blind ruins. I think this is the first place that we have been just find out this much blind ruinological sites. So next part, the most important factors scientifically, we may have to just study this kind of place. It's not enough to archaeological like subject, because of we may have to be a kind of transdisciplinary approach of this kind of place based on the geological, astronomical, archaeological, maybe in the ecological, like your subjects. Definitely we may have to go through with these kind of subject, and after that these all subjects in the one bucket means we can just get in the transdisciplinary approach. So then we can just considering what kind of archaeoastro or geoastronomy, or what kind of tourism based on this kind of sites. I believe next 5 years, if we have good scientific approach and good scientific publications around this area, so it will be tend to stimulate kind of another UNESCO World Heritage sites from the Sri Lanka or this sites. So that is the cultural mix up, and what is the archaeoastronomical background in this area? I think that is a very simply answer. We may have to go through more study based on the blind ruins and these 4 factors. So it will be going to be a little bit unique after that.
Well, this is very interesting. But right now, you just show the pictures of Danigala. I saw them, and I remember, like, you remember when we was working on analyzing the symbols with and comparing them with other symbols of artwork all around the globe. We was like, we have contacted a very known archaeologist, Dr. Professor Gorna Braunholt. He has published very unique books about prehistoric cultures and prehistoric people. I remember that we have commented the pictures of Danigala, saying that indeed high quality curving with intriguing patterns. My question is, till now, this sentence is really extremely disturbing for me, because these scientists have worked about archaeology for more than 13 years. Well, my question is, why Danigala petroglyphs are intriguing in the eyes of an archaeologist who have background of 13 years? Is it about the technology used to create those petroglyphs, or the quality of conservation that keeps these symbols survive through extreme conditions till today?
My goodness, it is kind of maybe you just add something, a lot of things to the questions. It is quite interesting.
He have said that those petroglyphs are very intriguing.
Yeah, that's exactly true.
You have 13 years of experience, and when he saw the Danigala petroglyphs, he said, this is intriguing. For me, what is the things that makes us, these scientists, be surprised like that? It is the quality of the technology used.
I think the background, yeah, that's true. You know, Angela, I think before 4 years back, when I was just having another free visit in Dhanigala cave, I was just surprised, my goodness, how Asian people just doing this kind of engraving. Because of our subject is just belongs to the astrobiology, we are not archaeoastronomists. So after that, I just informed to one of my friends in Bernie, you know, the Bernie, he's from the USA. He's super archaeoastronomical scientist from the USA. So after that, I have been just discussed many of details and some of experiment that we have done in India. So he also surprised after that. So same times, I just asked him to do Bernie. Bernie, there is some kind of another, you find it out from the Sri Lanka. It's like to be most of Dhanigala cave. So then I just passed them to those details to Bernie also. My goodness, he also just said the same thing. Aravinda, this is very unique, and how Asian people just going to be doing this kind of engraving. So that is most important fact. Yeah.
Very high quality, and me as well, how these petroglyphs have survived through these years.
That's quite unique. Actually, when we consider the prehistory background of the Sri Lanka, so we have huge potential diversity of the prehistory because of some of sites like Patadambalina, Pahiyambala. I think archaeologists have been revealed many type of huge evidences. But I believe it is so exciting, and that I don't have any kind of doubt. The representing this kind of technology in Sri Lanka, there is no doubt, because of when I was just considering how Asian people developed the some of the quartz tools called the Balangoda points and all the things, and CD all the things. So it's not surprise. By the way, I will show some of slides of that Dhanigala Chitralena. It will be going to be a little bit exciting to the whole people. So here, actually, basically, if anyone just interested in the Dhanigala coding and today's discussion, please go through with the Dhanigala coding technical reports, and you can just download via from the Google. So, and most important part is Dhanigala petrograph. We have been described a very little bit explorations of the Danigala petrograph because of it's not easy to describe what ancient people have been recorded and what they have been since. So here the another part of the Danigala petrograph site. Actually, from this wall, you can see in here this wall. These are two kind of granitic walls. So distance between the two granitic wall, I think it's less than 2 feet in some of places. You can see the bottom. I think it is less than 1 feet. It's quite hard to having like explorations and the capturing the how petrograph just consisted. You can see from the right wall, there are some of blind ruins in here from
Yes.
cursor. So only whole this granite wall consists with the blind ruins and they hold the petrograph, not this one. But I'm not sure. At the very beginning, there must be any kind of blind ruins in up there. So somehow reason it can be affecting to the weathering and erosion process. You can see some of part has been just removed from the rock. It's very natural. From this side also happening the same scenario. So here the very interesting facts that we have been just find out from the Dhanigala rock. Actually, very beginning we thought it's like a peacock and all things, even though I have discussed with you. But that conclusion will be changed with some of details. It's quite hard. You see, it's like a sometimes.
I see phoenix.
It's a phoenix, yeah. Actually, it's quite hard to describe because of some of ruins directly very similar to the other sites ruins. Actually, it's not from the Sri Lanka. I have actually when we just encoding this kind of petrograph, we have been just concerned of the what kind of other sites have been revealed from the Sri Lanka and what kind of blind ruin have been explored. Unfortunately, there is no this kind of 3D and the superb engraving blind ruins in Sri Lanka. This is the one and only blind ruin petrograph up to now, as I seen, and when we just considering all the references and other things. So the next part, yeah.
I remember that we have discussed the fact that the bird on this rock is like it looks like the bird that the shamanic culture have.
Yeah,
right?
That's true. I think it's better Yoda for the if you go next slide, I will just show them. So what kind of very similarity from the shamanic culture as well as from any kind of combinations from the Edakal cave from the here. So also I just I think it's better you can just see these images and go through these images and it's very unique. And actually this is this technique, I'm just really like this technique. Actually it's representing the sum of footprints and as well as some of the plants and the many type of things. Actually up to now we have been just described very little bit things from relevant to this image, and this part actually I just discussed with a few of our scientists from the USA, German, and Australia also relevant to this class because of they have been covered with this ladder technique. This is what we call ladder technique, and the shape of this one it's given to the kind of animal technique. So at the end, I will show you with the comparing with the other Bind Rune Codings and what kind of meaning inside of this place and what specifically meaning relevant to the archaeoastronomical background. Up to now, it is question mark because of you know this kind of scenario. I think it's not easy to have in a very simple explorations because of this is kind of very depth, and this is how Asian people encrypt their sense into the rocks. It's so unique, and this
It's very
yeah.
special.
And this place also actually these all the petrographs just constituted in the same chamber, which was another part of the Danigala circular rock. The most important fact of this one, you see some kind of the rock has been getting a kind of weathering, and it's going to be a kind of so in fact I believe the whole petrograph just extend to this area also, but unfortunately some of the flow of the some of water flows, and I have seen even when the starting the season and all the things, there there should be some kind of huge water flow go inside after these granitic cores, and that's how it's going to be so unstable. And most important fact of this chamber cave, so definitely we may have to be heading in the kind of good conservation manner before that we open to this site to the people. And this one, it's quite interesting because of this is the part that belongs to the archaeoastronomy. So you can see kind of this is all called anthropometric figures, and this part it's like to be a mastermind code. It kind of belongs to the archaeoastronomical code from the north, and there are many different type of archaeoastronomical codes in here also. And again, these symbols it's representing like most probably dog. It can be wild dog. It's not sure. Still, most of blind ruins are questioned because of the progress is ongoing. And next one, you know what is this?
Yes, of course. We have a huge discussion.
Actually, it's also a little bit questions. Actually, these two symbols you can see. The lateral view symbol, this represents actually kind of given, like if it is something we just belongs to the another group, and like sacrifications. So these symbols and you see quite different symbol. This is definitely it's belong to be that bird one. It's like a footprint and all the things. But this one is not bird one. It's not represent the bird, but it is like to be a dominate worshipper. The front one. The front one.
We can name priest.
Priest. Yeah. Is a priest. And this symbol is representing like how to heading with the self-healing. You know, self-healing. So actually, it's only one symbol. Self-healing means this line and plus dot. This line and plus dot should be belongs to the self-healing because of this cross line and double dot. It should be something relevant to the self-healing. And also this shape. Most of blind ruins explanation, this shape also like worshipping part. But I believe this is kind of purification. So like symbol, we may just considering the Shamanic, Norse, Vikings, and the other cult symbols. After that, we may have in a kind of conclusions with the systematically compare with the those symbols with the other side. As you said, this one is quite still questions. It's most probably it can be that bird because of. I think it's better if we can discuss with another slide relevant to this part. This is quite interesting fact actually. So and
this is truly very unique.
Yeah. Actually, I need to inform to the because of people will thought this image is a single image. Actually, this image is not single images. Actually, we have been just used the photo skipper. It means a kind of software, and we have been just assemble. I think more than 20 to 30 images. We have one image. So this is how develop this image. This is reconstruct image. This one also same reconstruct image. Actually, this symbol it's you know the circular. It means kind of distance healing. But I have seen the another part just incorporated into this part. It means circular plus this part. Most probably it can be representing group of the healings because of others are most probably can be worshipping or something with these spiritual activities. So this part belongs to the that group of the healers group of. So I believe I think some of other blind gods they have been just described the single circular. It's like a full moon, but still we are just confusing the meaning. It's not clear in this space because of this image also reconstructed one. It's quite hard to take in one image of that side because of you have seen the distance between the two granitic wall. It's less than 2 feet. It's quite. It's like adventurous journey to taking a photograph of the whole photograph. It's not that much easy. Then Still ongoing. See, I will show you one image, how we going to be assemble all those image via one. So these three parts assemble into this one. Actually, this one component, the yellow color one, it's constituted approximately 10 images, and another 10 images in here, another 10 images in here. Basically, 1, 2, 3. It means 10, 20, 30. It means, yeah, it's 30 images. Actually, whole image just considered in 30, around 30 images. So you can see some kind of arrows and some kind of very unique birds with the long neck. So in this area, it means to bottom to top, I think it's approximately 10 to 12 feet from bottom to 12. The whole upside to downside, these petrography just spreading the whole the granitic wall. It means definitely people have been just shoot from the sometimes arrow or other something hunting object to the this bird. At the end, I will show you what kind of birds in there, because of them try to kill this bird. Exactly.
Oh,
Actually, yeah.
there's a story behind
Yeah,
it.
story
Okay.
behind this scenario. Actually, it's kind of quite interesting fact, because of I think this part is belong to the archaeologists, because of the reason these are not blind ruins. These are not blind ruins. This
Okay.
is kind of another story. So blind ruins is another subject. We'll see in the future. And here also same phenomena. You can see the ladder technique. Actually, you know, Julia, it's a ladder technique means how spiritual life just went to the another life. It means after people were dead, they thought they will just go to the god and something else. So that is what they're just representing from this symbol. Actually, I have
Okay.
seen this symbol from the Danigala also. And the most important fact of the other one, I believe you can see from this code.
So it's spiritual
Yeah,
beliefs, if we can
yeah,
say. Okay.
exactly. It's spiritual.
Life after death.
Yes, actually, you know, this one also a
Hmm.
little bit impressed. I had these are blind ruins. It's not that kind of
Oh,
story. This blind ruin, it belongs to the kind of, I believe. It's representing something like dreams. It means they know they have been just dream, and after that they have been just engraving this kind of things, which is based on the patriarchal life. Actually,
okay.
this is the thing that they have been engraving when they have realistic life. In real life, they have been faced the real incident of what is behind the story in these granitic walls. That's what it's happened.
Oh, this is
Yeah,
unique.
actually, these are the blind ruin coding that you just heading into this kind of things. Actually, there are many type of blind ruin analysis in the whole world. Some of our belongs to the archaeoastronomy, some of our directly belongs to the archaeology. But we have been just compare many different kind of culture, how it's going to be developed, different type of bind rune. Um, so this is how we just having a kind of very simply conclusion, but still questions most of conclusion, because of we need more further study relevant to this place. So I believe your question. So yeah,
I like right now, truly, I understand the word intriguing that the our scientists have used. It's very intriguing when you see those symbols that describe stories and sometimes history, like kept on a very unique and very conservative shape till now. It's very unique. Well, right now, Dr. Aravinda, from the start of this very interesting discussion, and with all what you have just explained concerning geological formation, the astronomical culture, with the synchronization, the development of those symbols, the innovation and human also like behind its creation, I believe we all want to know more about the story behind the Dhanigala culture, and if there is any similarities with what we found in Danigala.
Actually, it's quite hard to find out how Dhanigala is going to be similar with the other sites. So luckily, I think 2016, I have been just visited to the Edakal sites, and so it will be tend to stimulate to classify what's happening in the Dhanigala area. So I will show you some of again uh, slides. So then it will be
Okay.
easy to have in very easy discussions. So here, actually, all around the world, it's a kind of human migrations. It's happening the last 650,000 to the 6,000 years ago. Actually, Sri Lanka is the one of dominate part of that incident because of the reason we have been just find out huge number of prehistorical diversity based on the sum of open sites and cave sites and many different type of factor. It means the human migrations is the common scenario. It's not something unique factor. So if it is, they have been just migrate country to country. So then how it's going to be affecting this place? Actually, I'm just so concerned about the three sites before that three sites, I need to think how people just having a travel in between Sri Lanka and India. At the last, it's a very early Holocene period. It means around 11,000 to 12,000 years ago. We call it young race impact. It means suddenly the whole world it's going to be a kind of glaciation formations. It means it's kind of transitions from the interglacial period to glacial period. I think it's happening because of the meteorite impact. That's what meaning young race impact. Actually, there are many type of evidences belongs to this young race incident. So, in fact, within very minimum period, we just have been seeing the kind of formations of the glaciers again and again. So, affecting that scenario, the sea level has been just dropped, I think, approximately 20 meters to the 25 meters around South Asia region and East Asia region. It based on the carbon data analysis from the few of different sites from the India, Singapore, Maldives, Thailand, and you can just check that details from this paper. So they have been just out their details and the as a publications on 2019. This is quite interesting and unique found because of the we thought around this period land bridge in between Sri Lanka and India should be closed, but affecting this incident. So again, story representing the different directions. You can see what's happening. The current sea level is dropped, I think, more than 20 meters. More than 20 meters. So suddenly the land bridge in between Sri Lanka and India has been just connected. Actually, Sri Lanka is a kind of continental island. It's not isolated island. It's always since the pre-Cambrian period. It has been just representing as a part of the India. So most important fact, Shamanic culture and the Edakal cave and the Vedda people in Sri Lanka. This year, first quarter, I have been at the Kashmir, Ladakh, and area. I have seen how Shamanistic people just involved with their cultural activities and all the things. So it will be very easy to synchronize Shamanistic people and the Edakal people. Edakal means Kurumba tribe. It is belong to the Kerala. Actually, why I just selecting these three sites up to now, we have to be concerned of this some kind of scientific manner. What kind of peoples have been just developed this kind of petrograph? So when you're just considering the Dhanigala petrograph, so up to now, our scientists think this must be developed by the Vedda people. When we just considering the Edakal cave is the one of very similar engraving technique, which is very similar to the Dhanigala petrograph. So it means Edakal one means it's kind of unknown development up to now because of they sometimes they said Kurumba tribe has been developed the these engraving technique and different type of things. And also, but shamanic, but you know, the like cultures like shamans, it's who around the world, not belongs to the India, even though some of African countries representing, some of American countries representing shamanic. It's just quite very unique and very interesting. They are so popular for the like healing. They are so expert into the healing, like some of dealing with the spiritual activities and all the things. I don't know. It's that is the story behind the shamanic. But I have seen some of very scientific healing systems they have been still have. Uh, so then I believe around this period, these three cultures have been just in one bucket, have been just compositions as one composition. So it's quite easy to have in a kind of migrations in between India and Sri Lanka. And so based on these three cultural factors representing this kind of engraving technique. But I believe technique of the Dhanigala, it originate inside of the Sri Lanka. Up to now,
You see, there is samples on the
drums.
picture, the same that we have found in the wall. You remember the hailing thing? The hailing sample.
Yes. Yeah, it's like to be some kind of very similar symbols in Shamanic people. But still, we may have to be go through with some of more studies, more folies, and collecting the data, and after that, we may have to be a kind of conclusions. So, how this kind of draw engraving technique and what kind of story behind this place. Actually, you see, this is Danigala site, and I'm just going to be compare Danigala 1 and Edakal cave. So you see some of the other technique in the Edakal cave, same technique representing the Danigala site also, but the different way because of I believe the engraving moods and the engraving technique of the Danigala, it's quite 3D mood better than the Edakal cave. And also here another image from the Edakal cave. So I need to just check. You see some kind of anthropomorphic human engraving in here. You see some kind of headdress up there. So I believe it belongs to the kind of dance and traditional singing around this Danigala. Sorry, it is Edakal cave. So you see how Indian people in Kerala, we call it the Kurumba tribe. Still, they have kind of cultural dancing systems like similar to. This is kind of I'm not sure, but it's quite little bit similar.
Well, yeah, but in the picture that you have shown, it like it's for me. It like if I will see it, I will not know that it is Indian like tribute. I will say this is a shamanic like a group of people.
That's exactly true because of here another thing, the shaman. So they also have kind of feathers and like this. I think this one also a little bit similar. This is the image from the Edakka site Kerala, and this is the site that we just use and applicable as the systematic comparison in between Danigala. So this is very interesting fact actually. So also you can see another image from the Danigala one, this part. So same little bit very similar engraving part in here also. But I'm not going to explain what kind of blind going in the Edakal cave because of I don't think we have that much time. So I need to see a little bit comparison, what kind of similarity in between these two technologies. And also this part is quite interesting. Most of people actually, even though actually our subject is not archaeologist, there are some of archaeologists in our team, but it's quite hard to explain what kind of words in up there because of at the very beginning we thought it's like to be
the idea of
yes, Jada.
I said the ideas of what is this bird about is all over the place. We have a lot of ideas about it may represent this bird that we can find in the shamanic culture. It may represent other type of bird. For me, it represents phoenix. I know this is crazy. It represents phoenix.
Actually, it's a kind of doubtable, but we may have some kind of go through with some of ornithological expertise. It means people who just study the birds. So we have been having some kind of little bit exploration. Actually, same time we have been just find out the another image from the Kurulangala, another rock art site in Sri Lanka. It is kind of big bird. I thought these two sites representing the same birds. I think last few days we were having a kind of little bit discussion relevant to this site also. Actually, you just build up kind of very interesting factor based on the one of image that representing this quarter. I will show you it's what kind of factors. So actually, when we just considering this petrograph and the phenotype analysis, so there are kind of very similarity and gravings in between those two factors, and still doubt are they representing same birds in these two sites. So that is the things we may have to just go through and find out. So this is the new fact. We may have to just find out from the
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Actually, Joseph, this idea came out from the yourself. So actually, after that, we thought this place is kind of having some kind of spiritual activities, and newborn baby sacrificed to this bird. So most dominant question: who is this bird? But I think up to now, none of archaeologists or none of petrograph analysis discover this part because of
Can you just show the baby?
Sorry.
Can you just the baby? Can you just like use your thing to show the baby in the screen? Because maybe they will not see the baby.
Exactly, they didn't see the baby, but there are some kind of baby part because of that bird is trying to be catch the baby, and you can very clearly say in this image the face of the baby. I think it is newborn baby. It is represented.
It's a newborn baby. It's clear.
It's a newborn baby.
There is a placenta there. It's still there. I can see even the placenta.
Yeah, that's exactly in here, no? This part. Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, these cases belong to the archaeologists. Then you have to go through this systematic analysis, and better to compare with the few of more images. And I think this case also similar to that pattern. I think most of incident behind this petrograph it's kind of corrections mark because of we need more further study, but I believe this is going to be so exciting because of this is the one and only place in Sri Lanka consisted in this kind of petrograph. This is very unique place, and I believe some of authorizing sectors like Central Cultural Fund, Department of Archaeology, they may have to be so concerned about this kind of places. And before opening these sites to the civilians, they may have to do some kind of exact conservations, and they may have to give some kind of exact guideline to the visitors about this place. And we need more research background behind this place. So the next point, this is quite a little bit interesting. Actually, after that, it's a stock bird. So we know some of story behind the stock bird and how stock bird going to be eating babies. And it's not actually myth because of the reason around the Indonesia, we have been just, I think it's from the German scientists, they have been just revealing some of samples from the stock bird at the one of cave in Indonesia. So same time they have been just recovered another new species called Homo florensis. It means kind of tiny people like hobbits. So they
Yeah.
thought actually same cave they just have been just discovered samples of the hobbits and sorry, yeah, it's
Pigments?
a pigments. So I
Yeah.
believe some sort of reason. Actually, this is something like a reconstruct image, but this part of the bird, it's too much. This is not like to this case. It's just reconstruct. They didn't have any kind of samples. They have only this samples. I will show you that sample. So I
Oh,
believe in Kurulangala also representing the same bird, and also this is Kurulangala and another image from the Kaudagala. These places are in Sri Lanka. I think all the
yeah.
places representing the same birds. So after that, I think this image I got from the that excavation project. This is the extinct stockbird type that I discovered from the one of Indonesian cave. So I believe that birds very easily can fly to the Sri Lanka, and sometimes people will just sacrifice their babies to the newborn babies to this bird. I don't know the story, but we may have to be some kind of furthermore study. So another very interesting fact, I was just remember the some of cartoons that we just watch in the
Sorry.
childhood. Even though right now also I'm just watching the cartoon story of yeah story of the Stockbird. So there are some kind of connections in between birds, these stockbirds and the babies. So the question still is a question in real life. They may have kind of connectivity in between human and these stockbirds. That is question because of this part is kind of I don't know it's a myth or realistic. So I think these evidence representing something new directions. So we need more further studies. So exactly these birds are around in Sri Lanka. So if it is, we may have to be going to some kind of excavations, and it can be quite probability to
Yeah.
find out some kind of fossils part of the this kind of extinct versions in Sri Lanka. So actually, this is the kind of very interesting story behind the
I
this.
have fields everywhere. Like truly, this side of the because we saw birds everywhere in Danigala, in the
Yeah,
other side,
Kurulangala
and
and the Kautagala.
so this means that there is a connection between humans and bird, either positive or negative. But the baby that is like painted in the other side, it shows that there is some kind of human sacrifice going on. I believe that we need to dig in
Yeah,
this
yeah,
topic, new
yeah.
research.
I think it is something more for the studies because of the reason actually my part is belongs to the all the geology and the astronomy. So few of archaeologists who just participate and incorporate in our project, they may have to some of new directions and they have to be think out of the frame. That is the part we can just consult them. This kind of facts that we may have to be described, and I think it's better you can just go through that facts and finding things. I think this can be quite possible, what we have been discussed right now.
Oh,
So this
that's challenging,
bird is kind of
but
yeah, it's
challenging.
kind of very unique. So yeah,
Yeah. Aravinda, we have previously like talked about Danigala as an excellent, and you know my point of view for Danigala, an excellent site of adventure for both national and international like tourists. Like it isn't now the right time to make a development management plan to like have tourism, international and national tourism in Danigala.
exactly. I think up to now,
Come with my Chinese people and Moroccan people. I will bring a lot of people.
yeah, actually, I'm also just surprising after I seen the one of my technical reports in the European journal. So they also quite excited. You have seen that what Asian origin has been
Yes.
done, and I think there are many people discovered with this technical paper, and same time they're just waiting to be coming to the Sri Lanka and just watching what's really happening behind the scenes of the Danigala, if it is any kind of story behind the astronomy, geology, and archaeology, all in one place. Because of this is quite very interesting factor.
Sri Lanka, the one and the only Sri Lanka. There is nothing more beautiful than Sri Lanka. I love you more.
Yeah, I know. I know. Actually, I may have to appreciate the most of scientists out of the Sri Lanka. They just directly incorporate with this project and as soon as very possible. Because of right now, you know, it's a kind of huge outbreak like COVID pandemic, but still we are working with the new explorations, new discovery. But I think next 5 years, all the things will be affecting to the Sri Lankan as very good in something sustainable and something economical like that. So by the way, I will show you something very interesting how we can just head in with the tourism sector. Yeah, actually it's like you know, definitely we may have to head in with some kind of transdisciplinary tourism approach, and my most important fact, this one, negative impacts. You know, when I was just discussing with the whole my scientists, any other project, actually it's not the tourism project. So very beginning I was starting what kind of negative impact for the people, because of I have seen that after we just opening this kind of sites to the civilians, if they haven't any kind of proper guide, then definitely that place going to be a ruin. Blind ruins going to be ruined. It can be quite practical. That's what the reason we may have to be so concerned about this part. And the next thing we have to be just heading with the geo, astro, and archaeo. This is kind of multidisciplinary component, and after that we may just thinking about this part also. And most important fact, the preservations of the environment. It means how we going to be conservations this site based on these factors. Like we can just incorporate with this kind of sectors like Central Cultural Fund. Up to now, they have this kind of project. Actually, it's called Central Cultural Fund Polonnaruwa Alahara Pirivana project. So they are the people who just coordinating the whole area. It is under the Archaeological Department of the Sri Lanka. Same time, Ecology International Link, we just providing some of consultant to them with the new technology, because of we have kind of very unique technology in that fact. I think based on this simple scenario, we can just approach the very interesting tourism trend in Sri Lanka, because of it will be going to be a kind of very unique tourism approach in Sri Lanka. I will show you a little bit example from the Edakka sites. So how, from India, how they have been just discovered, and how they just approach the tourism sector based on that Edakal site. Yeah. Wait. Still loading. You see?
Ooh. We are starting our journey.
Actually, this is kind of this is the entrance place of the Ilaka cave, and they already made up some kind of fence, and they just providing the basic facilities to the people to visit there. And this is quite interesting. And actually, when I was just seeing this place, I think 2016, it memorized me Dhanigala. You see some kind of Isenberg around this place also. It's quite unique and very interesting fact. And I think for the year there are many type of visitors from the whole world. They were visiting to the Edakal sites. So we may have to be a kind of very sustainable and the very forecasting master plan before we just open the Dhanigala sites to the people. And I will show you some of blind ruins, how they just going to be here, the blind ruin sites. You see, this is the this is like to be some kind of chamber. You see, it's so similar. There are of
Yes.
boulders in that site also. So this is the chamber number 2, and here the entrance, and they just covered and make some kind of barrier via this fence, and you can watch very beautiful and attractive blind ruins in up there. So this place can be taken as a role model when we having a kind of tourism approach in Sri Lanka based on the Dhanigala circular rock. I think this model is quite it's quite usable and applicable to the Danigala site also, because of the practically I have seen this place and I know what we can do. Yeah, practically for this site. This is quite exciting. Yes, Judah.
You have visited.
Yes. I think 2016. Actually, I don't know. On that time, I don't know anything about the blind ruins because of my subject is kind of astrobiology. I'm just having a very close to the this side because of I need some of samples. So on that time, I don't know this kind of scenario happening in this side before 4 years ago. But after I just checking the Dhanigala site, I just remember, oh my goodness, it is quite similar to the Edakka sites, and so excited to having this kind of things in Sri Lanka. So that's how I think this is kind of very unique role model to the Sri Lanka. I will show you another video. It's done by the, you see
Okay.
this
Yes, I see.
some of very interesting the granitic rocks.
Geological.
Yeah, it's a geological formations. Also, a little bit it's kind of similar to the it's Dhanigala one, because of they have been just developed this site without changing the natural formations. So because of if you just trying to be open to the civilians, so definitely it might be kind of very natural and the very sustainable way without damaging the other natural formations of this place. So we can just apply this same model. You can see some of very interesting cranes around the whole sites, and it's very exciting. That's why I informed the CCF also. This is going to be a kind of very exciting place, and yes,
it's actually.
that's it. And same time, I believe we can just provide in the archaeoastronomical tourism. It's not only doing the camping and all things. That's why I just informed you very already. We may have to give some exact guidelines for what kind of reason and why we should just provide this kind of facilities to the locals and international level visitors. So we may have to be just thinking so much because of the at the night sky on after we just head into the Dhanigala circular rock. My goodness, it is very unique sky. Very clearly, you can just observe the sky. It means even though prehistoric people also they just having some kind of very unique idea of the sky, and definitely they may have good sky observator. Because of that's why I told you it is quite interesting to having a kind of archaeoastronomical background in Sri Lanka, and we may have to just go through how they have been just recorded all the things. And right now we need to be allow the same access to the current people with the proper guideline. So go to that place and how just doing the having a kind of observation camp. Actually, I believe 2014 to 2015 we may have to some kind of initial discussions with the government. It's based on the Arthur C. Clarke Institute having some kind of huge telescope around the some of area. I think this area is quite suitable and quite interesting, and the most applicable place for the kind of establishing the new telescope actually, because of we can just providing transdisciplinary plus multidisciplinary approach. It's not only astronomy, we can just convert it to geology, archaeology, and all the things. So more for the details, I think it's better if anyone interested in these subjects and all the things, they may just head in with the Google and search Archaeoastronomy Sri Lanka. We have a little bit monograph. You can just have some kind of initial details and you can just add something new to the your knowledge. And also Dhanigala coding also available in the Google. And also this is something very quite interesting fact that I have been just finalized last month. It's called geotourism and geoheritage potentials in Sri Lanka. So actually it's representing how geological, archaeological, astronomical factors that incorporated to the same one bucket for providing the sustainable tourism in Sri Lanka. And I think this is going to be a quite exciting if we just can cooperate with the whole sectors, and it will be affecting to the Sri Lanka as much as I think it's quite good. So at the end, I think I need to be a thank to my whole team. You see, first of all, I think Joda, it's full credit go to the yourself because of the finalizing of this project. You just doing a remarkable job. And the Bernie is from the USA, and our geologist Geet Samira, and from the other side there are two astrophotographers, Carrie from Chile and the Akash from Singapore. So on further studies, this group will be going to be incorporated, and this image. I want to just inform he's the blue color one. It's Aruna Bandara, archaeological officer from the CCF. For he's the one who just asking us to just come and check. We need some of more further study, and he's our photographer. And this one is really interesting guy. He's coming from the as our helper. He's from the villages, but he know many things because of the reason he don't know anything scientific. That is the point. But he knows anything what really happened in the environment because of I think he is a good it's a yeah, he's a good guide, and one day after many people just visiting to this place, I think we may have to be providing this scientific manner to those guiders. Then they will providing that knowledge to the that people who are visiting up there. And I think next few years, so we believe we can do something very remarkable job around the Danigala. And
right now, I just want to go to see Danigala. I promise you. I saw the pictures, and you know my idea about this site, but right now, about what all we have just discussed, I want to go there more. Can you open the flight for me?
Exactly. I think that's what we need actually. I have seen many of scientists in Sri Lanka. They have been done many different type of the explorations and the research. But most important part is how we just trying to the filters those knowledge and those practical phenomena to the civilians. So until we just providing those factors to the civilian, they don't know how to providing those things. Actually, it's not going to be affected to the our social economic background. That's what scientists we need because of they are the people who just coordinating the whole sectors and providing the facilities to the people. Not it's not politicians. Politicians are not providing facility to the people. It's doing scientists.
Yes, true.
So it may definitely we may have to do something for the Sri Lanka. That's why I really appreciate the whole my group from the USA, China, and Morocco. And actually,
China, Morocco here. I am from two countries.
We're just representing two countries. So I believe as I told you, next 5 years, we believe we can do something very unique thing to the Danigala and whole people. Because of, I remember after I visited to that place, what villagers just told me. We need some more facilities to this place. That is the things that they have been just requested from us. Because of some of places, they didn't have electricity. They didn't have good transportations. Because of it's quite rural area. But most important, I like that rural type. I love that rural type.
I see.
Before we having some kind of development, we may have to think many times what kind of development that is just going to be heading in. Because of I am pretty sure if we have good research background, good explorations, good details, and good conservation manner, and good social economic background. So within the whole things, we can just having some kind of very good approach in this place as a newly developed UNESCO World Heritage Site from Sri Lanka. That is what actually my dream of being at some kind of.
Mind-blowing. I said mind-blowing. Right now, we have the plan. We know how to do it right now. We just need to start doing it.
That's exactly. I think, Yoda, it's better if we have some kind of question. We have to do.
Yes, I saw there is a lot of questions in here. There is a question.
Yeah, just wait. I will just go need to be some of another question start because of already some of just send me another question. Just give me a few minutes. I will check the same time, and you can just check what kind of questions in up there also.
I have a questions in here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and more, I believe. They ask if these like Dhanigala petroglyphs are the first discovery in Sri Lanka. Dr. Aravinda, did you hear me? There is a question in here. Did you hear the question?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, it's the first discovery in Sri Lanka, no?
Yeah. It like they ask if this is the first symbols or petroglyphs that have been discovered in Sri Lanka. I think it's not the first.
Actually, relevant to these kind of blind ruins, this is the first one. This kind of ruin, this is the first one. Because that blind ruins, you know, that world, I think it's around height will be around 10 to 12 feet, and the length will be around 25 feet. So it means it's quite square feet around this whole petrograph. This kind of big petrograph, I don't think, as I remember, we didn't find out this kind of thing. This is the first time, and I think this whole credit, it's first time. I think it is going to be some of villages. They are the people who just inform this Kandagama people.
Yeah. So this is about the technique used to make the Danigala symbols and petroglyphs. That's in fact that make it the first time. Okay. Okay. We have the other picture of the painting of the bird with the baby.
I think that part also discovered from the another group, but it's already discovered in 2002 or 2003. After that, 2013 or 2014, it has been rediscovered. It's not like Danigala one. Danigala one is newly discovered
one. Okay. Now I believe it's clear for me and for them.
Yeah.
There is a second question in here. I believe this question about the geological formation. They said the question is in combination of sea level change and physical motions of Earth. I believe for the formation of Dhanigala.
Actually, that's true. When you just considering the some of physical motions of the Earth, it's like especially we call Earth precessions. You know, rotations of the planet Earth and revolutions of the planet Earth. These two motions are quite common motions to the people, but there are some other motions. We call it Earth precession. It means Earth axis going to be a change every 26,000 to 26,000. It means axis going to be a change. Earth axis. So that scenario can be just affect into the some of surface temperature of the planet Earth. Then affect in that case, it can be starting the glacier period as well as interglacial period. So affecting that, it can be affecting to the sea level changes also. It's not only anthropomorphic activities because of that right now we thought sea level changes and all the things it's belong to the human. So what about the very prehistoric time? It's happening in the very prehistoric time. That's very. I'm just surprised. Everyone just said, "Oh, it's done by human. It's done by human." You know, there are some kind of mass extinction in the past few billions of years. So what about others? So you know how many times the barriers between Sri Lanka and India, the land bridge between Sri Lanka and India has been open and disconnected. It's open and disconnected. It's because of not human.
Yeah.
It's environment. It's happening very naturally. So
It's what we call nature
nature
conditions.
conditions. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, there is another question in here, and this question is really related to you. They ask if the study of astronomy it's new, like study in Sri Lanka.
You mean archaeoastronomy?
Like the question is like study astronomy new to Sri Lanka.
I think I believe he's just meaning like not only astronomy, it must be archaeoastronomy because of that is the part relevant to this stage. So I think astronomy part is not something new to the study in Sri Lanka, but archaeoastronomy we didn't have that much strategic research papers relevant to the archaeoastronomy, but that part also quite newly subject, and up to now we are just progressing and developing that subject cooperated the another scientist from the Sri Lanka. So it is kind of upgrading subject actually. That's true.
Okay, and there is another interesting like a question in here. They ask about how old is this rock art is.
Actually, this Dhanigala rock arts, I believe it's around 5,000 years ago. Because of the reason why I'm saying like that, the same engraving technique or very similar engraving technique to the Danigala coding we have just find out from the Edakal cave. Edakal cave has been just dated around the 6,000 to the 10,000 years before. But it's quite sometimes some of scientists said it is kind of relative one. It's not exact dating, and still questions in up there also. Still questions in Sri Lanka also. But we just comparing the only relatives things. But most important factor definitely we have to head in with the absolute dating like carbon dating, and I think it's not enough if we just find out only one carbon dating. We can't say this period is going to be that petrograph and like that. It's not practical because of we may have to be some kind of so strategic studies within next 3 years. It means we have to be excelled some kind of behaviors, the other prehistoric sites around the Danigala place. So after just we having some kind of different type of dating around this place, and then we may have to having some kind of exact conclusion. Yes, this place can be belongs to this kind of area. Still, I think it can be most probably 4,500. So it can be so old. It definitely this is belong to the prehistoric Sri Lanka, not the history,
Oh my
not
God.
history.
It needs to be conserved,
Yeah.
actually. Well, I believe that we have answered all the
Yeah.
questions, and I'm
Yeah.
very glad for this to attend this discussion. And right now, I told you I'm just waiting for the flight to open so I can came to Sri Lanka and go directly to
Yeah,
Dhanigala.
that's exactly. Let me check if it is any other questions from the other groups. There are some of groups available in here. Uh, I believe still we didn't have. Yeah, there is another question from the another one. It means how to declare the archaeoastronomical bind ruins. So my goodness, it's kind of hard questions. Declare the archaeoastronomy. Actually, bind ruins is a kind of new subject. So up to now, that subject is providing from the Bernie. Dr. Bernie from the USA. He's the one who is providing the archaeoastronomical symbols and all the things. He's the one who just analyzes all the things. I think within next few months, we may have to go through that symbols, and we need more further studies. So after that, we may have some kind of conclusions, as well as definitely we may have to be compare with those buying ruins in between the different type of catalog. which was in the whole, just like Vikings code, Norse code, Shamanic codes, Aztec, and the codes. There are different type of blind rune codes, and it has been just synchronized with the different type of cultures. So it's quite unique how people just incorporated each other at the prehistoric period. Then I believe they didn't. I believe they didn't have any kind of war on that period because of. It's quite confusing how these kind of people just, it's all in the same bucket. But
it's huge. Actually, I believe this part will be for another discussion that will be soon arriving in Ecoastronomy Sri Lanka.
That's it.
It's a huge part. It's a huge part, and it needs to be alone, like as a lecture, to talk about it.
I believe that's really good. I think that part is going to be something exciting because of the Archeoastronomy like subject. It must be in Sri Lanka. It will be effective providing astronomy like subject also because of still in Sri Lanka astronomy like subject. It's not in the commercial level. So I believe this kind of projects and research explorations will be affecting to the astronomy as made as a kind of commercial level subject. So that is what we're trying to do in the corporate different type of multidisciplinary subject and the disciplines. So sometimes cooperated the Sri Lankan economy.
Yeah. Well, there is still any other questions?
I believe these are the questions. I have seen some of questions from the another group, but I think that questions are very similar to these questions. There is another question. What is the formations of the eon of the Dhanigala? You see that?
Oh, okay. What is the formation of the eon?
Yeah, actually, it's some of it's a rock based on the Vijayan complex. So most of formation it belong to the Precambrian. It's definitely been 1,000 to 2,000 million years ago. It means 1 to 2 billion years ago. It's happening. That is how the formation. So also the right now geological patterns representing after the having some kind of physical and weathering impact. Is how right now formation is represented. On that period, it's definitely kind of earthquakes and all the things in happening in Sri Lanka. And after that, this is how seen the settlement, the last settlement of the area. So it's up to us to actually people with it when they just see some kind of granitic rock or just we can just break down it and we have some kind of commercial papers of the granitic rocks, but it's not. All the geological, archaeological, and the astronomical factor, it's quite unique, and we definitely have to just head into the kind of conservation manner. We have to protect it, and same time we have to open with the our other people, like incorporated this area and sharing knowledge. So this is how we're going to be pop up this kind of place. Yeah. So I think.
All right.
I think
there
are a lot of questions I have seen.
But you can answer those questions online. Like you can answer, comment on these questions online. So, ladies,
okay.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we wish that you have liked these discussions. If you still have any other questions, you can comment them, and Dr. Aravinda will check them, as well as I myself. I will check them and inform him to see and answer them. Well, thank you very much for your attendance, and wishing you a very good night for you all.